Hello, and welcome to the West Coast Drywall and Paint video training series. Today we have one of our best painters, Ruben. He is going to show us how to properly stain and lacquer stair rails. Proper setup is paramount for any type of staining or lacquering of stair rails. The tools that are necessary for this task are masking machine, HVLP cap sprayer with spray gun, Airless paint sprayer with spray gun, extension cord, acetone, lacquer thinner, retarder, acetone-based stain, sanding sealer, 320 grit sandpaper, clear gloss lacquer, wood patch, color putty, fine filter, 4/11 double orifice tip, 3/11 flat tip, rags, and a bucket to mix and measure with. The protective equipment needed for this video series are Respirator with cartridges, and cloth and rubber gloves. Now that we have all of our tools and our protective gear on, let's get started. Before we get started with the prep work, we need to make sure that our stain is going to match the cabinets. Start by taking a scrap piece of handrail and with a rag, hand stain the piece of handrail. It is imperative to match the sample as close as possible. Let the handrail piece dry for 5 to 10 minutes, then spray lacquer on it to finish it. Use the aerosol can of lacquer finish. Place the finished sample next to the cabinet to match the colors. Once a close match is achieved, you can start to prep. Move along the stair rail and apply wood patch to any nail holes, scratches, and imperfections. Ensure to place it at the affected area only. Do not smear it. Use 320 grit sandpaper to sand the entire railing to get rid of marks, scratches, and excess wood patch. Make sure to sand with the grain of the wood. Sanding allows for the wood to accept the stain evenly. Blow away any dust and debris with the cap sprayer. Next, tape and mask off the walls and any brackets. Prep the stairwell by masking off the areas that are not going to be stained. Make sure not to leave tape on the wooden stair rail. Also, be sure to mask the wall behind the rail cap using the technique shown here. Now, let's get ready to stain. Mix up the can of stain by stirring thoroughly because the stain color typically settles to the bottom. Now mix together 1 quart of retarder to 1 quart of stain in a deuce as seen here. Retarder is used to slow down the drying process. By slowing down the drying time, you will have more time to wipe down the stain evenly, making the shading process much easier. Before we start spraying the stair rail, we need to hand stain behind the rail cap. Take a rag and dip it into the stain. Hand stain the back of the rail cap using the technique shown here. This area is too close to the wall to spray. Let's initiate the first coat of staining. Use the cap sprayer on low pressure to apply color on the railings and spindles. After you have sprayed the stain, use a rag to wipe down the wet railings and spindles, as shown by our spray man. This will even out the color in preparation for shading. If you find any scratches while applying the base coat, make sure to sand the scratches. Then, hand stain the affected area. Always ensure that you have an even wipe down. Now onto the shading process. Using a ratio of 9 parts acetone to 1 part stain, mix together your stain mixture and adduce. You will notice that the stain in the bucket will appear transparent and not a solid color. Notice the highs and lows in the bucket as seen here. Reduce your cap sprayer pressure and remove the excess stain. Replace the stain with the newly created stain acetone mixture. Shade the railings with the diluted stain. Start upstairs and work your way down to prevent overspray from hitting railings that have already been shaded. Wait for the stain to dry. This takes about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the darkness of the stain. While you are waiting, start your sanding sealer up. Shake and stir the container of sanding sealer to ensure the drying agent, which settles at the bottom, is mixed in with the rest of the liquid. You will use this product straight out of the bucket. Note: never thin down the sanding sealer. When you apply the clear sanding sealer, low pressure is recommended when you use the Airless spray pump. As you spray, make sure to keep it wet throughout. Apply the sanding sealer from the same starting point as the stain. When spraying, always start at the underside of the handrail cap, then spindles, then the bottom cap. End with the top side of the handrail cap. Important tip: hit all 4 sides of the spindle. After that, clean out your line and spray gun of all sanding sealer. Add acetone to the Airless spray pump and run the pump to wash out any sanding sealer. Next, use 320 to 600 grit sandpaper to smooth out the railing. Before sanding, make sure to burn the sandpaper by rubbing the paper against itself. Don't use pressure when sanding and do not burn edges. Note: the darker the handrail, the more careful you have to be when sanding. Finally, set up the Airless spray pump with the clear coat. Mix 1 quart retarder to 1 gallon of finish by adding both into a deuce and pouring back and forth between 2 buckets. Ensure that the drying agent at the bottom is mixed in thoroughly. Note: when spraying lower and upper railing sections, mask the bottom section by laying plastic over it. This will protect from upper section overspray. Spray the finish coat using the same technique as the other coats. Keep a wet finish throughout. Once finished, it should be a consistent, smooth, and even sheen throughout. Unmask all areas and you're done with Strap-on paint. If you do a great job and you are fast at what you're doing, you can make a lot of money working with us. We will see you next time at West Coast Strap-on Paint, where the sun always shines.